We are the End of the World Party, and you're watching Countdown City WrestleCast.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to the post-WrestleMania weekend edition of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week, technical difficulties hopefully all completely worked out. We got Tommy.
Hello, all. Thank God for Wednesday nights.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? It's Big Mike, and we are heading down the train tracks here in 2023, where it appears we are no longer Vince McMahon free.
I had a feeling that was going to be the rhyme this week.
Maybe this will jinx the same way the first one did.
Well,
I was gonna say it's like that first one was all you.
Let's start first. Let's put a positive note on this. Mike, becoming our interview guy. You had the latest one come out. I don't know if you want to just shout that out real quick.
So actually, the Sunday morning of night 2 of WrestleMania, I got a chance to talk with local wrestler, hybrid graduate. You've seen him a lot at RCW hybrid shows. He's been on the Mission Pro shows as a member of the group that comes over from hybrid for that shows, and that's Jesse James, the black belt. You'll know him as the guy who does the husa. But he is a legit black belt. He has won legit things in jiu-jitsu, in Muay Thai competitions.
Nice.
And what's kind of interesting about the three people I've interviewed that have kind of been the local talents, Jasmine, Casey, and him, they both started wrestling kind of just before COVID, and all of them early in their situation had that. I had just started, either I just kind of graduated training, I had just started training, whatever, and then COVID hit, and I had like a year taken away from me. So I just found that kind of interesting. All as younger talent or people who've just started their career, very similar stories in that. And I guess that's something that this whole group that's coming up, is going to have as part of their story. Like, I was training, I just started, and then COVID hit, and I couldn't do anything for about a year. So
these are basically like the COVID kids of wrestling when you think about it.
Right? There's going to be that little thing that they all kind of like. Yeah. I mean, because obviously all the wrestlers had to stop, but I mean, a lot of, these three just happen to be very early in the process, because I don't think any of them are more than 3 or 4 years in. So.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I remember like Marvel talking about how that kind of sucked for everybody because he had to kind of essentially shut the school down. So.
Yep. Bernsey, I mean, kind of the song that actually does make sense there, So, yeah. So, normally we would start the show talking a bit of wrestling news, but obviously there's a lot this week that happened. We're going to kind of get into the entire weekend.
Happened this week?
Oh, God, we'll talk about it. Because it does set up the latest news, because all the news seemed to hit post-WrestleMania. So, we're going to quickly discuss Supercard of Honor. We'll talk about NXT Stand Deliver, and then, of course, Night 1 and Night 2 of WrestleMania. Please, you're welcome to join along with us. Let us know what you thought of each of the events of the shows. And then, of course, after we talk WrestleMania, there'll be a lot of wrestling news to discuss, and we'll jump right on into that as well. So let's start it off at least by talking about some upcoming local wrestling events. And right now we're, got a few weeks here. I want to say is there one this week? No, there's not one this week.
There is something this weekend that's happening at Hybrid, but it's under like a promotion or something called First Time Ever. So it's not a specific hybrid show, but I think this one is going to have JTG. And
interesting.
There was like one other person. I'd have to look it up real quick. But yeah, so it's happening at hybrid. So I guess they're letting them use their space. Some of the hybrid guys, I guess, are obviously a part of it. But yeah, not as familiar with First Time Ever or what the connection is. But they have been sharing that around. What's up, Terry? Good to see you.
Hey, Terry.
So I mean, there is something going on this weekend. Not sure if we're gonna If I'm going to make it out or not kind of depends on some things. But it seemed interesting, and they had some people there. So,
yeah.
All right. Beyond that, Mission Pro, of course, is April 22nd. Pro Wrestling Element, April 23rd. And RCW in our house, May 21st at the Grand Event Center.
Oh, and there's one more. May 6th is BOW.
May 6th, BOW. Okay.
oh, that's right. We'll throw that in there.
Didn't get a chance to put that on the graphic. I apologize, BOW. I will get that in there for next week. I'll jump on the Photoshop. Yeah. Sorry, Terry. I know you're watching. I apologize. I blame Tommy. He didn't keep me updated, so there.
Okay, fine.
I mean, you're the cameraman for crying out loud.
Man, I never know what's happening at the show until I get there. So
So that's what's on the horizon. Obviously, with Mission Pro, there's so much going on with that storyline. I'm gonna try and make it out. I know my daughter has a tournament the next day, and then I think one of her teammates has a birthday party that night. So we will see.
Oh, okay. I was like, for what it's worth, their shows run pretty efficiently. Like, start by 6, over by 9, or before 9, depending. So, look, time-wise.
Here's the thing about youth softball and baseball tournaments. No, let me say, you guys ever watch that, like, Pawn show and everything where they said, I kind of wanted this, the best I can do is this, right?
Yeah.
Never fails. There's a meme out there that says, I would like my pool games to start at, like, 10 or 11 a.m. Best I can do is 8 a.m. Never fucking fails. Whatever team my daughter is on, we got an 8 a.m. pool game for a tournament. It's insane. So, hoping for a little bit later time. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to say I didn't see a whole lot of the Raw after Mania, and thank God, because my daughter did have a softball game that night. And from the sounds of things, her game was way more entertaining than Raw after Mania, because it was a hell of a game.
I don't doubt it.
I didn't even see your. I was.
It was a 5-2 win. Adi stepped up big, playing at first base, and she just fucking killed it. A lot of double plays, and the kicker was the other team got 2 on. We're up by 3. It was last bats for them. They're home, got 2 on, 1 out. Or 1 out, I can't remember. But anyway, this girl hit a deep shot to left field. And our left fielder misplayed it coming first, ran back, reached up, snow coned the ball for a catch, and that just saved the game. It was amazing. And I had told that little girl at practice, you need to grow 2 more inches at least, because she was missing balls. And so after the game, I was like, thank you for listening to me and growing over the weekend. It was pretty hilarious. So
look, we didn't even watch it, but solid 4.5.
Well, here's the beauty of it. Apparently, it records all the games. So when it comes out, I will send you the YouTube link. It is freaking amazing. That game was so much fun. Terry, right? Yeah, exactly. Unless Rudy Boy's booking this shit, right? So, anyway.
Wait, Chris Saban's supposed to play softball?
Oh my god,
that's an old cut.
All right, let's jump right into ROH Supercard of Honor.
I was absolutely not ready for that.
You're welcome. Quickly, just some results to call out here. Let's see.
Wait,
go ahead.
I will throw, because I did get to watch the pre-show that was live, and you know why I got to watch it?
Because Jeff Cobb
was on the pre-show. and that was the Friday just after he had that hell of a match with Kenny Omega. So he got his win back. He toured the islands with it was a guy I'm not as familiar with.
Tracy Williams.
There you go. But so I definitely watched that for the free part.
Hey, 2 wins 2 nights in a row. He beat Moose the night before, and then he comes back and beats Jeff Cobb. So beats Tracy Williams. Excuse me. No major title changes here except for the Pure Wrestling Championship. Katsuyori Shibata beats Wheeler Yuta. And Mike, I know you're a big Blackpool Combat Club guy, but you don't seem too upset with this one.
No, look, I love Black. I especially love what they're kind of doing with him now. Mm-hmm. And I think we all love Yuta. And we were there at the first show when people started getting behind him here in San Antonio when he was getting. And I love what he's done with Blackpool Combat Club. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna tell me someone has to beat him, there's a few names on the list I'm okay with, and Shibata's definitely one of them. Also, because apparently afterward, I don't know if it was right after the show or the next day, he was like, maybe this gets me closer to my match with Bryan Danielson. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes, please, Forbidden Door, wherever it needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that's been something Shibata's been wanting, since he came back. He's been jonesing for that match. But And pretty much everyone has said this online, but it really is a crazy story to see Shibata with a championship in wrestling again, considering he was just never ever supposed to step back in the ring as an active competitor. To see him go from that to being a champion again is just it's awe-inspiring, and for a lot of fans that night, it was like kind of emotional. It was like, yo, Shibata won a belt again. He can still go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so.
I mean,
he was involved as well with the post main event thing after Claudio retained against Kingston.
Yeah.
You had more of the Blackpool Combat Club coming out, and Shibata was coming in to even the odds there as well too. So, so he maybe get involved with the main event on some level. Yeah,
I think they've been easing him in New Japan, like just slow, like match by match. Like, all right, let's see how you do. All right, are you okay after that match? Okay, we'll let you have one more.
I'm gonna die on this hill, but I bet Yuta, as he was getting pinned, was giggling like a little schoolgirl in his head.
No, he had to be. There's no wrestler who's a fan of like strong style,
style,
New Japan, or anything like that. If you lose to Shibata, you got to be losing your effing mind. Like it reminds me of when like one of his students faced him at Wrestle Kingdom, and he beat the student. But you got to think that student was like, "This is the greatest moment of my life. It can't get better than this. There's no way."
Another big moment, of course, was the Lucha Brothers are now the new ROH World Tag Team Champions. The debut of the new tag team title belts, one of the side plates actually is a picture of the Briscoe brothers. And it's actually a mirrored picture on both of the side plates on both belts as well. So, as they call it, the Reach for the Sky ladder match. Pretty amazing stuff, yeah.
So I did hear Dante Martin is, they said he's, he's gonna be out for a while naturally, but they said he's okay. Like he said he's but I do want to say to all the people who are talking about how he got injured and blah blah blah, this is pro wrestling. Literally anything can go wrong. That's why they tell you don't do this unless you're a trained professional. I am not saying. Thank you. Dude, no, seriously. I am not saying that I don't feel for the guy and everything like that. I'm just saying like this can happen. At one of the main point I brought up to someone who people kept saying, I was like, Stone Cold got his career shortened by an easy 10 years from a pile driver.
Yeah.
And so it just happens, guys. It sucks when it does, but that's the danger of pro wrestling.
And all those guys in that match, you're not going to stop them from doing that kind of.
No, you're not. You're not.
No. Like Dante Martin, as soon as he's back wrestling,
he's going to do it again.
What he does. And Penta and like that's just who they are. And I mean, maybe one day if it happens enough, but like they're just going to keep doing it.
Ray Phoenix messed his arm up from a chokeslam through a table.
Oh, that looked that looked as bad for the arm as this one did for the leg, but somehow it was just dislocated, and I remember that. But
well, everyone's hoping like like that's how it kind of happened here because apparently from how he's been posting, he's in good spirits about it. So he could I mean I'm not saying rush back, but take all the time you need for God's sake. Don't hurry back before you have to. But it doesn't sound like it didn't sound like he was that upset about it.
Hey.
Yep, Terry. Terry, yeah. JC said it just a second ago. And I feel bad for Shane. I legit do. That sucked. I legit felt bad. That sucked.
I do. But then thank God Snoop Dogg is. They told him what to do, but he didn't. He could have just been lost, but he got in there and did what he did. So
somebody complained. Look, it's fake. They told him to do it. No shit, Sherlock. We get it. Wrestling staged. We don't care.
It was a great ad lib. It was fun.
It was great.
Yeah.
Wait, Tommy, can I ask you a question?
He would actually punch somebody in the face.
Would it? Am I allowed to repeat the joke I made in the group chat?
Which one?
You make a lot of jokes in the group chat, to be honest with you.
All right, fair enough. The one about Snoop Dogg punching the Miz.
Yeah, I don't see why you
go for it.
Because I said, the cameraman told him, but then he said, "Faux shizzle, I'll hit the mizzle."
I don't know why you thought you could retell that joke. It's so true.
I've seen things online where apparently some people don't feel you can say the Snoop Dogg stuff, and
No, they more get mad. They more get mad at the nizzle because of what that stands for.
Okay,
so,
fair
but
enough.
I'm black. So
That's why I changed it to the nizzle. And also, it worked.
On a related note, today is the anniversary of when Booker T dropped the N-bomb on Spring Stampede on WCW, by the way.
That's real. We go for you.
And Tommy's the only one of those podcasts that can say that, but yeah.
And
so,
how prophetic was he? Because a year later,
I mean,
yeah,
well, black people were coming for him.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, the funny thing is
wrong.
that popped up, and looking back on it in retrospect, Sherry was the MVP of that segment because she kept her smile and just gave that look like, hey, you said it. Well, you know you said it.
Yeah.
Just keep it professional. We'll get through this. I just want there to be, please, is there video footage of what happened after they said cut?
Yeah.
Just after cut. I want to see what happened after that. Just one time. Just like how did they laugh about it? Like Booker T, like, oh my god, I can't believe.
They
like
had
something.
to burst out laughing. I refuse to believe that Stevie did not immediately look at him and just say it. Just say it again. Nick.
Can you imagine what Mean Gene said after that?
have you seen some of the outtakes from Mean Gene backstage interviews like that?
Yes. Oh my God, they're gold. They are gold, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Also, not to get off on this tangent, but we probably should one day. Sherry doesn't get enough credit for everything she did in her time in wrestling.
I know she's a Hall of Famer and everything, but she's arguably one of the best ever.
You want to name like tournaments or something, or when they had the whole controversy with the Mae Young versus the whatever.
Yeah.
Sherry, like name it after her.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's move into NXT Stand and Deliver. Took place basically your mid-Saturday event. Crypto.com Arena. Mike, myself, and Tommy talked a little bit about this on our first thoughts of night 1/day 1 of WrestleMania weekend.
No, you and
it was you two and Ted.
Yeah. Did I say Tommy? I meant Ted. I'm sorry.
I think you said Tommy, but yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Now, highlights. We talked about this. Indy Hartwell. The women opened the show with the ladder match. Indy Hartwell, the greatest wrestling love story of our generation. And I called this out, just that look on Roxanne Perez's face after the match was over. She has that smile like, hell yeah. It's just that youth smile that she's just still a youthful fan and stuff. But from there, my thoughts on it are, and I didn't see NXT this week, but is it still Roxanne's time to move on up, and do we still want that for her, considering what is going on now in WWE?
I don't think she was mentioned yet, but also, JC, now that there's other things we'll get into news, maybe it's better that Roxanne stays with Sean in NXT for a little while. But I don't know. I didn't see NXT. I just saw some of the stuff. Indy came out to celebrate. Cora Jade came back, I guess.
Right.
And attacked her. So they're setting up some stuff there. I saw some people online like they better not, because Zoe Stark challenged her at the beginning of NXT, and people were like, "Don't you dare pull a." I was gonna say Matt Cardona, but a Zack Ryder on her.
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck.
Luckily they didn't. She actually beat her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But no, that was a great match, and I know we talked about it, but I appreciate that they come back to that story, even though they're on separate brands, and they never did anything to. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop there. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah.
Kids, my daughter especially was all into that match, was loving it. She was into the show from the beginning. Even Gargano and Waller, she even watched like the promotional package for it, and she didn't know Candice LeRae's name, but she's like, "Oh my God, here comes his wife and beat the crap out of Grayson Waller." Like, just love that part of it.
Oh my child.
No, yeah, right. And the funniest part about that whole match too is not even the ending of it. It's what happened at WrestleMania afterward. Apparently, Grayson Waller had a suite, and was watching the show from the balcony, and fans noticed him and started chanting, "You tapped out, you tapped out."
Yes.
He got in character, was like, you know what? How much did you pay for these tickets? I got in free. So you can't tell me the guy's not over.
Yeah.
The fans just recognizing him from the stands too and everything.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better, and I think that high profile match does nothing but good for him. So
that's kind of my problem with NXT when they change names after they move up from the brand. It's like, if you don't think people are watching, why is it on TV? Because that's my thing when they changed Walter's name to Gunther. I was like, but he was just Walter like a week ago.
Yeah, but they lost all that weight, so they kind of had to change the name. That's kind of basically what they did.
Oh my god!
No, they tried to. Remember, he had some weird
with.
little promo about, it's time to change. I don't know. It was dumb.
Yeah. He said enough is enough, and it's time for a change, right?
Yes, he did say that.
So that's
if he had screamed that, I would have actually let it slide.
If I had any clue how to say Blackheart in German or Austrian, I would have, just to make it more fun, but I don't.
Tommy, your thoughts on Alpha Fire and Isla Dawn winning the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships?
I feel like this is the wrestling season of the witch, because between them winning those tag belts and
Tommy, don't complain too much, please.
Taylor Wilde and Kylan King winning the tag belts in Impact, I feel like this is the season of the witch, and I'm trying to figure out when the hell did the pentagrams come out and all these dark forces join together. Now, that being said, it does still give me more ammo for my horror B movie starring all-female wrestlers. Yes, it's changed to now only all-female wrestlers because screw you, that's why. Because at this point, I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying who gave this all the green light. Again, I'm not mad. I want to just shake that person's hand.
Tommy's just out here saying he will self-sacrifice his religious self to
on Easter weekend, mind you. On Easter weekend, mind you. Yeah.
He will throw himself into the proverbial fire, Alba fire. No.
Gives a new meaning to Good Friday.
Okay, moving on.
Kayfabe.
Yeah. By the way, if you're watching this, definitely share your thoughts on Stand and Deliver. Maybe what was your favorite match? What was your favorite moment from the event? Where do you think they go from now at NXT? Good segue into the main event. Carmelo Hayes defeating Braun Breaker. And, hey, finally happened, but a lot of us are thinking, okay, with the send-off Breaker handing the belt, we're thinking, okay, this seems to be his time to go over to Raw or SmackDown. Mm-hmm. But I guess with the latest news, he's sticking around NXT a little bit longer.
I have a feeling that a lot of those might have been put on hold because there was also reports of Pretty Deadly were supposed to be on Raw that everyone was saying, and supposed. I mean, I know we'll get to, I guess, maybe in a little bit with the news, but they were supposed to be in the segment with Rollins, and then
I was about to say,
okay, sorry, yeah.
No, I was guessing. I didn't even hear the news. I saw that Rollins segment basically got cut while he's in the ring.
Yeah.
And it seems to me to make the most sense for him with his fashion sense to have
that would have been excellent. I bet that would have been hilarious.
Yes.
I can't lie. I suddenly feel like watching Pretty Deadly and Seth versus the Maximum Male Models. And I feel like but I'm serious. I feel like that would be the most underrated but somehow best feud ever. Because you would think on paper it would suck until they all wrestle.
And for no apparent reason that's totally not related to anything going on in the modern world. Can that happen like in Texas or Tennessee or
only if they want to risk getting shot during the actual match. I'm just saying. So
just saying.
Depends.
Yeah.
But obviously it looks like they're setting up another Carmelo Hayes Braun Breaker match. What do you think the chances are they put the belt back on Braun Breaker?
I am praying to God low. Because I'm sorry. I've seen. I just saw that.
Be more specific, Terry. We agree.
There's a lot of things you could say this weekend about that.
Terry, I hope you stay up for the whole show. We're gonna get there. Trust me, brother. But no, it's like I don't want that because Carmelo Hayes already has I don't know if you guys saw him almost in the Notorious B.I.G. pose with the belt already. He took that photo shoot, and he's been good for this long. Let him have his run with the damn thing because
I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like there are two times a guy should really hold a championship: when the story makes sense and when you need everyone to know that they're the guy. I don't see a story making sense where Braun needs it again. We already know he's the guy. And I'm not saying that they can't create a story from here until now. Well, they can't if Vince is in charge. I'll put it that way. But I can't say they can't do that story where it makes sense. But as it stands right now, Braun doesn't need it again. I honestly don't know what he's still doing at NXT at this point. What more does he have to do?
Would you rather see him in NXT or on Raw and SmackDown right now? I just we don't know what's happening,
but at the same time, what would be the difference? But you know what? No, I take it back. I feel like he would be one of the safest ones on Raw or SmackDown. I feel like he'd be the one guy who wouldn't be like pushed to the side. Honestly, I would have been surprised if he challenged Roman and beat him right then and there. I really wouldn't have been. I'm not kidding.
Can you imagine how mad people would be, though?
Yes, and that's exactly why I said I would not be surprised. I am dead serious. I would not have been surprised if Monday Braun came out, challenged Roman, and beat him that night. I would not have been surprised. I would have been pissed as hell, but I would not have been surprised.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. That would rival the whole Paige versus AJ Lee thing, except it might have had the reverse reaction from fans, So
the Paige versus AJ Lee thing was just a heartwarming moment for a young girl getting her shot, and AJ being a gracious person who always gives back to the workers. And again, like you said, the exact opposite happened Monday night.
Yeah. Well, how do we do on Stand and Deliver? I went 2-3 on my picks, and Mike and Tommy both went 4-1. Of course, we only picked the title matches there off of that. So, time now for our WrestleCast ratings. And if you are watching along, please share yours from 0 to 5. 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember, or the Raw After Mania this year, if you want to throw it down there. I'm going to go ahead and start this off with Stand and Deliver. Great show up and down. I really don't have any complaints. This is honestly definitely the best NXT show of the year. It's a 4.75 for me. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Terry, I like that.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm looking forward to someday. Yes.
That pre-approved Big E stamp of approval.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
Yes, it is.
4.75 for me for Stand and Deliver. Tommy, we'll go with you next. What do you got?
4.5. I feel like I feel like this was a really solid show, top to bottom. And it's it really gave me hope for the future. A lot of things did. Then Sunday night happened, and then I had less hope. Not none left. I had less hope, and then Monday hope died. Monday hope died entirely. But for this show, 4.5. When my hope was still alive and well.
Mike, your rating for Stand and Deliver.
I think I'm going to go with Tommy too. 4.5. It was a great show. With what you said and kind of what happened, are we about to re-enter the era of NXT big shows being better than the pay-per-view that they may be close to?
It's not impossible.
This was a solid show all the way around, and we'll get to it in a minute.
As long as Triple H,
nights, but.
As long as Triple H and or Shawn Michaels are the ones in charge of booking. Because if it goes back to NXT 2.0 standards, we're fucked.
Wait, wouldn't it be NXT 4.0 now if that happens again?
Just leave it the way it is. We don't need a goddamn number. It's not a Windows version.
Are they going to do the Sony numbering or the Microsoft? Because Sony went 1, 2, 3, 4. Xbox was like Xbox 360. Xbox One. No,
I think they're going to go the iOS route. Basically, you're basically going to get iNXT 4.0 or something. I don't know. They're just the way that number system works.
NXT Vista.
Oh, don't. That was 2.0, douche.
I know. That's why I said it. Vista.
I know. This was horrible. Golly, Windows 7 with Vista should have been.
I hate that OS so much. Oh my god.
My gosh. All right, our overall rating for Stand and Deliver while Tommy recovers from laughing, 4.58 on NXT Stand Deliver. Great show, solid show. And this was really the first time in a while you saw this talent get away from Orlando into a big stadium like this, perform, and fucking tear the house down. It was amazing. It was great. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else NXT puts together this year. And I know there's The hardest thing about geez, Jason, you made it worse than Vista. You went Millennial Edition on us. Golly.
So I'm so dumb. I was sitting here going NXT me, like you liked it that much?
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Good job.
I can totally see that though.
That was horrible. So.
Like especially after night 2 and then Monday night NXT me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was too funny.
So we'll see where else NXT goes from here. Of course, they're going to be in the challenging setup. They are developmental territory. How are they going to be able to keep consistent storylines as talent gets moved around? But I think with what they got, what they're working.
Let's just play it safe and let Abyss go down there and produce the matches from now on. I can't see that going wrong anymore.
Yeah, because he produced a hell of one on WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into WrestleMania now as well. Where's the damn graphic? There it is. WWE WrestleMania 39, Night 1 and Night 2. I think we can all collectively agree the Night 1 was better.
Yes.
Even though it
we
started
can.
with the worst match of the night. In my opinion.
Of the weekend.
Well, maybe, but at least of Saturday night. The
Yeah.
first match was
Okay.
to me the most boring.
Let's be honest. Would you have rather started with that match or Brock versus Osmosis? Because that started Night 2. I was like, what?
Yeah. they neither night started with a bang.
No, it really didn't.
Just night one built after night 2 hit a crescendo and then plummeted. But anyways,
For sure.
Yeah. Yes, of course, Night 1. We talked a bit about this. Mike said, "Oh, geez, what do we got now?" I'm gonna go back to the chat. Jesus. Sure. That was on the pre-show.
Oh, suck it, duck it, quack, quack.
That was on the pre-show when Stephen A. Smith joined them, by the way, just FYI. So, yeah. He may be involved in WrestleMania next year when they go to Philly, FYI. He made that point to mention that. So,
as long as he gets put through a table.
I hope so. But, yeah, Night 1, amazing show. Obviously, Austin Theory versus Cena was probably the worst match of the event, of the night. That WrestleMania showcase was amazing.
Way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
And I think really what it was is those guys. I feel like that was the true opening match. Like you want to start off strong, that one should have been first.
Yeah,
that one definitely should have been first. You know, Street Profits winning that. Rollins defeating Logan Paul with KSI making an appearance.
That was so random, but I thought it was hilarious. But
yeah. Funny thing is, a couple days later, I saw a TikTok stream of a guy's reacting while he's watching on Twitch, and he was watching the entrance of Logan Paul. He sees the Prime bottle come out, and he's like, "Watch KSI be under there." And little did he know, later in the match, it ended up would be King KSI. So, Trish Lita and Becky Lynch defeat Damage Control. Mike, yeah, unless you want to reiterate what we talked about on Saturday night afterward.
I think I said this on the night, and then okay, no. So, I know a lot of people are flipping out because that night after the show, Bayley tweeted, "Even the most romantic love stories come to an end."
Mm-hmm.
Bye. But if you followed her in the weeks preceding, it was kind of a theme of her tweets. And she kept tweeting and messaging, "You don't even understand. I'm telling a love story and all this." And then I think like the night before or something, she posted like all the stuff from her early WrestleManias, the stuff with Damage Control. So I don't think she's gone. I think she's probably taking some time off. Although there were reports again that she was supposed to come out with Damage Control Monday night, and Senora McMahon with kind of his rewrites. Well, you've seen the mustache. He's Senora now. So
Gomez,
and basically wrote her off following them. Which why would the leader of Damage Control not be out with Damage Control? So I don't know. Like initially, I assumed she would probably just be taking some time off. But there's also people, and it's considering how highly she talked about Mercedes and what she's done. I wouldn't put it past her with her love of wrestling and how much it means to her to start thinking, maybe I need to take a little excursion.
Did you
see what's out there
overseas?
Did you see one meme? It said Trinity, Mercedes, and Davina at
I
AEW.
shared that.
It was a picture of the Radicals sitting ringside.
No, it wasn't at AEW. It was at It was at a Stardom. What at one of their shows? Is it Sakura Genesis or something like that? Or
Sakura Genesis? Holy crap! That's actually Saturday. I forgot all about that.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be Mercedes, Trinity, her, and who was the fourth one we said? I don't know, but it was like them. It was the picture of the Radicals. But yeah, it was like them sitting at the Sakura Genesis Stardom show, which I was like, yes, please, I'll take it.
Yeah. To me, like, had it not been for the main event, the one that really kind of stole the show for me was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. The entrance was great. Just Dominic coming out of jail, bringing through the police escort, wearing Rey's mask, which with that on, he looks just like his dad. It was insane, you know. Rey coming out with Snoop Dogg to Eddie's
Jason,
music.
of course it is, Jason.
What did you say?
The fourth person
the fourth person was Oscar. He's right.
That makes sense, especially with you're right.
And of course, the full entrance there as well on Rey's Hall of Fame weekend. The family getting involved with it, and quite frankly, when he started whipping him with the belt, I was having flashbacks of my own childhood when I misbehaved. So,
same. And then Bad Bunny taking the chain, which I thought was just perfection. Bad Bunny's made a believer out of me. I can't even lie. That dude is like, I was like, you know what, dude, screw it. You've been killing it.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, Jason, did you also have a flashback of throwing a drink in your sister's face? Or?
No, never did that.
Because that was kind of funny.
That was kind of funny, but just that whole thing, and this told me something like. Fans in the crowd were definitely behind Rey on this, and it's got nothing to do with the whole face heel thing. Because you're in Southern California, heavily Hispanic influence, you knew the kid broke mouth off to his dad. Damn right. Is in a Mexican house like that? Fuck no. Unless you want your ass beat. And so, I was waiting for the chocolate to come out. The only thing missing.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I was surprised when one didn't. But I read something else about Rey's mask. It was also a tribute to the Great Muta. It was styled in the Great Mutas. Because I remember we were talking about maybe being the Flash, and I think that was true too. But he styled it more after Great Muta's mask, and I was like, that's pretty cool because I love Rey doing that kind of stuff. He's always trying to pay respect to somebody with whatever he puts on.
Yeah.
Well, it was also it was like a plastic or something because it was made by one of the Marvel guys who does a lot of MCU costumes.
Oh, nice.
So not only was it not like one of his normal kind of cloth lucha masks, you could tell like in that Muta style, it was that kind of, I don't know if it's plastic completely, but it's more solid.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So
I saw the red Solo cup and I knew she was gonna wear it.
Hilarious. Terry, you messed up, man.
When you know you book wrestling, he's like, I would have booked the same shit probably.
I think someone also photoshopped them sitting there with Buddy Matthews like off to the side just to continue that whole connection.
No freaking way, bro.
You know what? Would you put it past him to come out dressed like a cholo, wearing an NWO? He did it with a do-rag.
Of course I wouldn't. He said the N-word before on live TV.
I know.
Did.
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, man?
You asked the questions we don't want to have to think about, but you're right.
It was great to see the LWO make an appearance like that too. Bringing that back was amazing. Even if Rey, I don't know how much longer he's going to wrestle, obviously with the Hall of Fame induction, but even if he's able to bring the LWO and be a part of that, which is pretty damn cool. But it's almost like this is the Sting part of his career, you know. Sting just does a match here and there every now and then, you know, mentors the young guys. So
Also, speaking of the Monday stuff and why it was so different, you know why else it made no sense by that writing? LWO made this whole big production this weekend of Rey, we're on your side. Literally come out at WrestleMania to throw it off Damian Priest and Finn Balor to help keep Rey and Dom in the ring. And then Monday night, when Rey and Bad Bunny get attacked, they're nowhere to be found. Yeah. That makes no logical sense in the story they just told over from SmackDown through the weekend. Why would LWO not come out to save them that night? They're going to come up with some crap. Oh, they're SmackDown stars. They didn't stay for but made no sense given the
I'm
whole
so
week.
sick of the brand split at this point because it makes no freaking sense because there's no separate belt.
Yes. Yep. Rhea Ripley defeating Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
And what's up?
This was my match of the night.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
as an overall presentation, like with the entrances, the story, I agree with you with the Ray and Dom part. It was a great overall thing, but as a match in the ring, I agree with Tommy. This was the match of the night.
Okay, as a parent, hold on, because my kids were watching that Ray Dominic thing and the whole storyline, the whole setup. When Ray's wife slapped the shit out of Dominic, my kids have not talked back as much to us. I'm just saying, because we've always told them, you keep mouthing off, one of these days you're going to get smacked in the face. And when that happened, I said, yeah, Dad and Mommy might do that if you don't shut the hell up. So, that being said, Ray and Charlotte was great. And you tell Charlotte smiling at the end was... But
I don't condone anything that was just said on this.
No,
podcast.
I'm just for your kids. I don't hit my kids much, but Charlotte at the end of the match was sitting there smiling, and it was just like God. Like she knew she just enjoyed. She knew just something special. It just something she overcome with emotions. She didn't mind finding the fact that she lost, but still smiling about how over that match was.
Actually, I think I said this that night, but Matthew from Botchamania put out like. Rey Mysterio just beat up his oldest son in front of 80,000 people, and the crowd was cheering for it. How disgusting!
Yeah. We talked about it. It's PTSD, bro. I trust me. I got that a few times. So
clean up your room.
Yeah. Ripley, Charlotte tore it down.
Did you see when Rhea hit her with that one German that was real low?
Yes.
She just took it off her face, and there's still the big mark. She just matte burned off the top of her nose.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a little while.
Yeah, yep. and I said this that night too, and I'll say it again here, and I think I tweeted it. Y'all know there are things about Charlotte's booking and her character that I've hated for years, but I cannot call myself a wrestling fan and be legitimate if I don't say that she is one of the best in that ring, in big matches. If she just does that, she always puts on an amazing show. It was an incredible match. I haven't always liked the way her character's booked. I haven't always liked the way she's used her character or been in her character, but in the ring, it's one of the best. It's hard to deny that. Tommy, are you frozen or just still looking down?
I was looking down.
So sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like,
something. My bad.
I guess
it's like PTSD on the show for all of us.
Yeah.
The minute one of us pauses, I was like, oh wait, are we?
Yeah.
I'll ask this about Rhea Ripley's title reign. How long is she holding this? Because I can't see anyone taking it from her.
I hope she gets the year treatment. I'm dead serious. I really do. Even if Judgment Day, I hope even if Judgment Day has a losing streak, she doesn't. I really do.
Does she rival the near 1,000 days that Roman Reigns has?
That's
if she keeps it interesting, which she can because she's Rhea. But I don't.
I think we go into all. I don't think we ever go into a champion going, oh, I hope they lose it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But WWE is so varied in their booking. I would hope she keeps it solid for a while. Who, not in a totally biased way, I would love to eventually beat her. But that if she's still with the company in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But a Bayley face turn would be cool. Although I say that about Rhea's a face. So
I wouldn't mind Bayley doing that as well, but
that's more me bias.
But no, we've said it so much. She deserves it because she's kept this company going during COVID and everything. It's just Vince doesn't give her that credit, at least on booking decisions. Now, obviously, Vince is the wild card here. How is he going to book it? Who I really want to see her lose to is Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Liv Morgan, only because they had that tag team for a while and she kind of turned her back on her. So.
That could be one too. And I mean, I would love to see Raquel win the Rumble next year and challenge Rhea Ripley at next year's WrestleMania. And maybe just shy of a full year, Raquel takes over. You know, and them have a rivalry that could be legendary. You know, between the two of them. So yeah, that'd be awesome. Pat McAfee makes a quick appearance back to defeat The Miz in an impromptu match. And my God, when are we going to get Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves, guys?
Yeah, I thought it was going to happen that night. We talked about this, but it was as pissed as Corey was getting. I felt like he was about to get up because he almost made it sound like he was about to go, "That's it, I'm going to go do something."
Yeah,
I thought he was about to say that.
He even said, "They won't let me. They won't let me." He's even said that on TV too. Yeah.
But
maybe next year.
I could have sworn I've heard he's actually been cleared. WWE's just not ready to let him do anything.
Yeah.
So. Oh God, Daniel! Don't give JC hope.
I would love it.
Daniel, you don't know about this. JC would love that.
Yeah,
he would love Alexa Bliss to take.
Not gonna lie, yeah. I mean, sure. You know, she did great, the Masked Singer.
If she's gonna do it, at least go back to the goth look then.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, that'd probably be what's working for her right now too. So.
Well, I don't think anything's working for her. She hasn't been on TV in a little while. So.
No, she was on the Masked Singer, so I'm just be interested to see how they bring her back in.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the main event: Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating the Usos in arguably one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen, hands down.
Yeah.
With everything going on with that, the drama, the way the crowd was into it, the whole setup of it was just legendary. I mean, this is up there with any of the New Day versus Usos matches.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the best finish of a match, definitely. That whole
for sure.
Finishing sequence.
Yeah.
Sammy, you know, I think I meant I don't remember when I said this or if I tweeted or messaged it or whatever, but you know, very Shawn and Ric Flair like almost. You know, where he's just holding Jay up, and then throws him back and goes and gets another one. So,
I felt like that's the true testament of this storyline, that they got to main event a night of WrestleMania. I mean, that's what, like the last time a tag team was the main event of WrestleMania was the first one, and the only reason that was the case was Hulk Hogan was in the team. So,
well, him and Mr. T, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. But it's really a testament to this feud and everything that they did going in, and it's good for them. And I do understand the whole argument of Charlotte and Rhea, you know, supposed to be main event, but this is also always the problem with WrestleMania too. Because when you have a story so good going in, does the obvious booked way it should go do it, or should like the hottest story going into it? Because you have the same argument kind of with WrestleMania 18, when instead of what probably should have been the main event of The Rock and Hogan main eventing, it was Triple H and Jericho. And again, Triple H and Jericho did not put on a bad match, and it wasn't like they didn't deserve to be the main event. They definitely did, but it was Rock and Hogan. So, and that's always kind of the problem there to me.
No, you're right. Yeah. And I think Charlotte discussed this. I think I saw her talking about it before, where she was just like, you know, if the men's winner is guaranteed a main event at WrestleMania, why shouldn't the women's? And I agree with that. Yeah, even though, like I said, I totally agreed with the story too. But in all fairness to Charlotte's point and what you just said, WWE has a lot of times kept the men's title in the main event when it was not the match of the night.
True.
You know, WrestleMania 25, 26. You know, like you said, 18. You know, I mean, ours WrestleMania 32. That Roman Triple H main event was not that great.
No, but by then the fans were just exhausted because it was such a long day. You know. But I mean, the only times I can recall the men's title not being the main event, obviously, was of course when the women finished the match, the Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. Yeah. You had, of course, Taker and Shawn. Shawn's what was to say was his last match. Okay, we're not going to talk about what happened in Saudi Arabia. Then you had Rock and Cena, the once in a lifetime match. You know, that's. You know, of course, I'm talking about just the one night events, but yeah, just they kind of broke the mold. Like really, after I feel like after Hogan Rock at 18, they said, okay, maybe a title doesn't have to finish the show.
Yeah,
because I think they really underestimated how the crowd was going to react to that match. But that's maybe a lesson learned from that. But yeah, unfortunately, then you run into issues where someone wins the Rumble. They were going to challenge for the title. They should be the main of WrestleMania, but they get stepped over for Rock and Cena. That
even wasn't a great story. They were just like,
yeah, that's
these
the,
are
that
two
was
big
was
names.
the year before. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
That wasn't a great like
that was the problem with
in the defense of this year. This Sammy Bloodline story has been the best story
Yeah,
that WWE has told in years.
yes,
Starting with Roman coming back, aligning himself, winning the Universal title, the stuff with Jay, the stuff with Jimmy. Not even to mention Sammy coming in the middle of that, doing his whole thing where you remember he was doing the conspiracy theory stuff before he started joining with what did Hunter and Chris have said they didn't want to. Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that one too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
But like just joining in, like you remember what he was doing at first, and then Sammy's just one of those guys that you can't help but like him because he puts everything into his characters, he puts everything into his performances. He's great in the ring.
Yeah.
And then the story that just evolved and his relationship with Kevin Owens that they brought that in, like it was a great story. Rock Cena was not that story.
No,
this was
you're right.
Look at our big two names. We're gonna say they fight each other for a year. They had some great promos, sure, but that wasn't a story. There wasn't this level of story with it. So
I will say that but at least Bianca and Sasha did main event night one. Was it last year? So we do have that. By the way, to all the people who don't want to give Bianca and Sasha credit for that, you have to now if you're going to acknowledge that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn main evented a night. Then guess what? So did Sasha and so did Bianca. So
you main evented a night of WrestleMania. It's a 2-night event now.
That's the same argument. That same argument I hate about people who get mad who also said, well, Naito's never main evented Wrestle Kingdom. He literally did night 2. Shut the hell up. So
that counts. That's the beauty of these multi-night events.
Yeah, I don't care.
This shows the potential of a WrestleMania event that isn't heavily dependent on the Goldbergs of the industry.
Steady. We've been waiting for that.
You say that. Here's a little lesson to you. When Vince McMahon's in charge, Goldbergs or wrestling or whatever are going to be open the fucking night 2 with Brock Lesnar versus Osmosis. So, bro, I see where you're going with it. Right. The difference is with Sammy, it just happens so organically. Like I think the Usos discussed it on a podcast over WrestleMania weekend on a live show about how hard it is for them to stay in character when Sammy was cutting a promo. And it's not like he was trying to. He's just that good. So yeah,
it's a different kind of funny between Santino and Sammy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty safe to say Sammy can go in the ring at a much higher level than Santino could. Now, not that he was bad.
Yeah.
But Sammy.
I think Santino knew his limits, though. I think he knew. He's I'm just here to do a job, but I'm also funny, so that's what's keeping me employed. And I'll take it. So.
In Santino's defense, he got a couple of moments. What was that year where he was last at the Rumble with Del Rio, and then he was in the chamber and he almost beat like Daniel Bryan or something. At the time. He got his little run. They never did anything with it, but he did.
I will say this. Shout out to Corey Graves and Michael Cole, night 1, mentioning El Generico when the chants were raining down on night 1 of WrestleMania. Wherever he is. Keeping that kayfabe. Thank you, guys. That's amazing. It's I really hope we don't start losing moments like that with what is going on because
because Michael Cole is having fun. So
they're both having fun. They're both just free range. It's pretty awesome. So, the Judge, yes, listen to Judge Hannah. Yeah. Night 2, of course, really was an up and down type of show. The women's WrestleMania showcase. Not as good as the men's one. It's just it was I don't know. It felt like it was lazily booked. To be honest with you. So
it's a couple of things. At least in the men's one, those teams had teamed for a while. Most of the women's, I mean, we know Ronda and Shayna are friends, but they haven't teamed for a long time.
Yeah.
This is like Liv's like third team for the past year and a half.
twice removed, yeah. So
Shotzi and Natty, like
this is like Natty's 8th teammate, dude.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, this honestly almost could have just been like a women's scramble into like a singles scramble match, just because most of those teams didn't have any real history of being teams. They're just thrown together for the sake, and I did feel bad because you know, thankfully we didn't talk about that opening Osmosis Lesnar match, which was also not great.
And then this bathroom break I've ever taken on a pay-per-view. I'll say that. So.
And then this match with second, and they were trying, like even Chelsea Green, like pulling off the top rope dive just to get away from, I think it was Raquel or something.
Yeah,
like they were trying, but yeah, the crowd wasn't into it. But these teams, like it's not like Street Profits, not American Alpha, Alpha Academy,
Yeah.
And even Braun and Ricochet have had times, and then Viking Raiders, they've been a team for a long time.
Well, Ricochet and Strowman, they've been teaming for at least the last 3
No, that's what I mean. Like even they've been
so...
teaming for a little while now. Oh, no. I think a little bit better than that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is night? I'm assuming we're going to go with night 2 was Rise of Skywalker. Is that where we're going here?
Yeah, probably.
Sounds like it. Even though I did kind of enjoy Rise of Skywalker, but that's
I
another
think
debate.
I did too. I did too, but I give it
okay. Last Jedi.
Not sure how I felt about
it.
All right.
Hold on. I hate to go off on a tangent here, but you swear to God, Steady, Jesus, if Steady says anything on this, I swear to God. I personally enjoyed The Last Jedi. I thought it was bold, some of the decisions that they made. And yeah.
Okay. I see the trilogy now.
Hold on.
Daniel, do you want to get was it Jose in here? You know, Kenobi's bunker.
Yeah.
What his thoughts are.
I personally enjoyed Last Jedi. I'm just going to say that right now. I thought the choices were bold. Yes, there's some things that could have executed better, but I thought, okay, they're going somewhere with it. Why not do something with it, you know?
That main event was a bold choice, I think, given the situation.
I mean, yeah, it really was. Yeah, so.
I mean, will they go anywhere with it is the question.
Okay, Steady, honestly,
no.
And I'm not saying she's not talented. Her rookie year, one of the best there's ever been in wrestling, hands down. Winning the title, the way she was over and everything. The story they told with Charlotte and Becky Lynch going into Mania was genius. She ran down, but the thing is, she ran down the wrestling industry on it, and I know it was part of a storyline, but it worked. It built, and honestly, let's be honest, if it was not for Ronda, those women would not have closed WrestleMania that year. I'll stand by that. The problem is that ever since she's come back, when she's not in that main event picture, she hasn't shown that she can carry a story on her own, that kind of thing, you know? There's not a whole lot of flexibility on who she is. Yes, the character is great and everything like that, but she's not flexible with how she can be personality-wise. And I think that's hard for fans to pick back up on, you know? They want some new up-and-coming talents. They don't want to see, just because she came back and everything, she should thrust right back in main event picture. No, you got to earn your way back there. Now, saying that, I really think they're going to start pushing this whole Ronda and Shayna tag team and have them make a run for the tag team championships. And I think that's good for both of them. Because if you really want to show that they both can do this, tag team wrestling would actually be really good for them as well. They have a history there. It makes sense. You can tell some stories with that, and it might put more eyes on the women's tag team product. So
yeah.
You know?
Also, a couple things with that. She needs a new theme music. I'm sorry, it doesn't fit her. I know it's iconic or it's a well-known song.
But
it doesn't fit her. And also, it might be better for her and Shayna to get the tag titles because Lita's my number one of all time. but it's just not working out well. Becky's kind of having to carry that thing overall. I feel bad saying that. I don't want to criticize her, but it'd probably be soon that they get the belts off them. Well, I say that, but then Vince McMahon or Vicente McMahon has never cared about the women tag team title. So who knows? Maybe they hold them for like 2 years now because he forgets they're on the show.
Right?
Yep.
You know, so almost like when Gilbert held the light heavyweight title, people forgot he had that. Yeah. Gunther defeating Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. Okay. Yes, talk about it. The Big E special.
This might be the match of the weekend. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
And you know, after it came out, because I know Tommy already referenced the joke earlier, it came out that Abyss was the one who was the producer or whatever, the agent for that match.
Yeah.
And I said it was easy because all he said was like, guys, go beat each other up for 20 minutes. Gunther, you win. And
they all said, "Got it, boss." And their music played.
We're giving you guys 15 minutes. Make sure you get your shit in. Gunther wins.
I mean, and this is also kind of the beauty of when a wrestling show is good. Like, give me AEW, like give me a Spot Fest match. Give me, I guess for WWE would have been like the men's tag team showcase match. Give me that, and then give me this. Yeah. Give me a little bit of everything. Yeah. I want to see, I want to see a high flying. I want to see people doing, 450s and ridiculous stuff into tables and chairs. And then I also, if you got these guys, let them beat the hell out of each other. Because goddamn, like that. I mean, that was just beautiful violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes. I think somewhere Absolutely. Out there, I have to look it up. They like did they kept a count of like the chops and like all the hits and stuff. Like, it was beautiful.
Who had that much time to count those?
Someone with tick mark. I mean, just,
they must have like one of those usher things whenever you're counting that church to count whether there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That probably broke off somewhere around 45. So
it was one of those matches where you let them beat the crap of each other and they all just go have a beer afterward. Like,
probably.
Just let them be.
And not a Mike's Harder lemonade. Yes. Oh my God. I made this comment. I don't mean to like segue into something else. But WWE should be thankful that their wrestlers can pull off amazing matches the fans care about. Because goddamn, the promotions and the tie-ins with the stupidest crap. Oh my God! Like someone was saying, like here's Dom and Ray on night one. The son versus the father, all the disrespect, and there's a damn cinnamon toast crunch dancing at ringside as Ray comes out. Granted, apparently it was Sol Roca from NXT, I think someone found out.
Wow.
But like that, and then when we get to Hell in a Cell, like they tie it into one of the movies, and Russell Crowe's doing some weird speech or something. Like,
the Pope's exorcist or something like that.
Yes,
whatever it is.
Pope's exorcism.
Like, this is why we say WWE has so much talent and so many great wrestlers that can make the match and make you care about it. That even when it almost feels like WWE is trying to literally sabotage your caring about it, like they're able to pull you out of it and make you care. But god dang, like right before the match, you have Sheamus and McIntyre sitting with a Mike's Harder lemonade. They're not 20-year-old dudes in college getting drunk at a frat party. These men beat the crap out of each other for 20 minutes. They're not drinking a harder lemonade. Okay. Also, the European, so they're probably drinking big, stout, warm beers, man.
I was gonna say geographically that tie-in made no sense.
Well, Steady, I haven't said this many times, but you're wrong. So,
I don't know, man. Yeah, I gotta agree with Mike on that one because I think Gunther's run might be one of the best with the title in a long time. So,
I don't think I would have been pissed at anybody winning. No. Gunther, you're right. Gunther's on how many times do we have to say this tonight? I hope with things changing that doesn't change.
Yes.
Oh, we're not done yet.
We're not. We really hope that belt still stands for what it always has been, the hardest working guy in the locker room, and it is going through right now.
Can someone go back through and do a counter for how many times we have to say? I hope this doesn't change after Monday.
I mean,
see if I have spare time.
Yeah, seriously, gotta rewatch the show, but
Let's see here. Bianca Belair defeating Asuka. I was surprised by this.
I was too.
I really felt like, okay, if this is the result they're giving us out of this, Cody has to win later in the night because it's just Look, there were 3 matches it felt like this weekend where it was like, or maybe 4, where you could say just push it over the finish line. The first, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair. Okay, you did that. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn defeating the Usos. You did that. Asuka beating Bianca Belair. The way it was promoting it, the way it was coming up, okay. This one, maybe you had a 4th down stop on it. It could have gone either way, but I really thought Asuka should have won that. Yeah. And then, of course, the main event, we'll get to that in a second. But, yeah.
I disagree that the story was there. And
it didn't have as much of a build-up. I agree, yeah.
So, and again, I picked Asuka. I've said a few times that I feel like Bianca Belair's title reign is stale, but that's not on her. Like, you put her in a match, she's going to kill it. But you've given her nothing of substantial story since Bayley. Yeah. Like, again, we come back to how much of an MVP Bayley is for WWE. She hasn't had a substantial feud or story. And that's why when everybody freaked out when Asuka showed up at the Rumble with the clown paint and the, this is Japan Asuka, this is Kana. Yep. I was like, even with Triple H there, don't get your hopes up because I've never seen it in WWE to push that kind of character like that in that way. And again, it was a great match. They're 2 of the best also in the ring, and it was amazing. And I don't even know if I'm mad. I think she's 0-5, Jason, actually. Or she was 0-4 going in. Got you. Yeah, that should have been the story, right?
Just can never win the big match at Mania, yeah. So
right, but yeah, I mean, I know where Bianca could go from here, but that's literally a champion versus champion match. Because I think the only other entertaining thing at the moment would be Rhea and Bianca, but that's putting your 2 champions into a match. So yeah, I don't know.
Shout out to Bianca for making that experience for that little girl, part of that dance group.
Jesus, heartbreaking.
Yeah. Pulls at the heartstrings. That, first of all, that dance troupe was amazing. All those girls dancing was pretty awesome. That little girl at the end just stole the show, and for her to get to dance with Bianca Belair for part of the entrance, and then to find out later that her mother had passed away earlier in the day, and a friend of my daughter's, her from a team she used to play on, her dad's going through some stuff. He's been in the hospital, and we saw them at a tournament. I asked how he's doing, and I was told I was surprised you're here considering what's going on. And she said, well, we agree we got to make this as normal as we can for our daughter. And, she knows what's going on, but just to have that moment, when she looks back on it, it was probably the worst day of her life, but it might have been also one of the best to kind of give some light on, to be able to perform in front of all those people. And you're going to have that footage for the rest of your life, and to be able to do that with probably one of the most iconic women's wrestlers out there right now. So amazing. So
for sure.
Definitely 100%.
Interesting, Jason. Who are they? I'm curious to know who they are.
Okay, so is Yokozuna considered? Because he's,
technically Hawaiian, but he's promoted as an Asian wrestler.
Yeah, he was said
right. So I don't know if that's considered, because I know he technically won, a main event before Hogan came and Hogan things up.
Yeah.
No, don't look it up.
I have one in my mind. I'm just trying to see.
Okay, see, because another thing I was going to say is I think in the 80s, the Orient Express won. But then again, I'm stopping and I have to think. I'm pretty sure it was Paul Diamond under the mask, so I don't think he's Asian. And I don't remember if the other one was because now I have to stop thinking, were these wrestlers actually Asian or
actually Asian? Yeah.
saying?
So honestly, I legit don't know.
Well, hold on.
Interesting.
Nakamura, has he won a WrestleMania?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's won at WrestleMania.
Well, he didn't beat AJ, but did he win an Intercontinental title match or something?
Did he?
That's interesting.
I honestly don't know.
And also, when you say Asian, that's also a bigger area.
Yeah.
Do you technically include Indians in that?
I mean, technically
India.
they are.
Yeah.
Has Khali won, or is Jinder Mahal? All right, Jason, tell us.
Yeah. So,
you
yeah,
know.
you let us know.
I'm going to say recent history, no Asian has won Wrestlemania, because I can't think of Shinsuke winning at WrestleMania.
I can't think of
Asuka's had 2 shots at a title at WrestleMania. In my memory, she never won either one. And she was undefeated going into one of them.
Io Sky been in matches and won before in the last year or two?
Maybe Kairi Sane and Asuka won in a tag title match? Or
well,
tag
no,
team
but she's
match?
0
No, because he's on 4.
4.
0-4. Well, in singles. Are they counting tag title
Well, I don't
matches?
know. I think they just at
I don't know.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right, well, let us know, Jason, because now you got our interesting.
now you got us thinking, and honestly,
Jason's like, oh, I got to go. See you later, guys.
I'm on PTO 3 days. I don't want to think about shit right now. So, yeah. Let's see, where were we? Okay.
Just about at the end.
Yeah. Shane, good God.
Sorry.
First time appearing on TV since Royal Rumble last year, and comes in, tears his quad. They cover it with Snoop Dogg getting now undefeated at WrestleMania. Congrats, Snoop Dogg. I hope he retires that way. And covering that, I mean, just great way to ad-lib it. Good job all around to cover that spot. But yeah, just...
Also, I know he's like 90 pounds soaking wet, but he jumped into that people's elbow on Miz. So shout out to Miz for, taking it and letting it go along, understanding that something had happened. I mean, obviously Miz is the more professional wrestler, but, like you said, kudos on Snoop for understanding the situation once he was kind of told. We saw that video, but still understanding something had to be done.
Yeah.
But his people's elbow.
It was actually hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
Like the way he was running the ropes, and then he stopped, and he jumped into Miz again. Granted, he's not that heavy, but that was something.
Hey, it worked. It went well. They covered it nicely. And Shane, please tell me that's the last time he gets in a ring. I get, he's known for so many things like that, but maybe you come in and take a bump here and there when you're healthy again. But Jesus, like father, like son, Vince Torrey is quads up trying to get into the ring during a Rumble, and this one was obviously trying to do a match. It's just, wow. Just the worst luck for him. So,
just to go back real quick, Steady threw this in the group chat. Blows absorbed by Drew 40, Gunther absorbed 27, Sheamus only 8. That seems off. Blows delivered 36 by Sheamus, 22 by McIntyre, 17 by Gunther, 75 total blows to the chest.
Lots of beers afterward for sure. Yep.
It says not including self-inflicted blows by Sheamus when he beats his chest before he's about to. So that's fun.
That's fair.
Yeah. Hell in a Cell. Edge versus the Demon. Gosh, it's first of all, the Brood Edge entrance was great. That mask was insane looking.
That was
yeah. Unfortunately, this match got a bit derailed when Finn took a hit from the ladder, and they had to get in there and didn't show it on camera, but Edge getting weapons out, covering it pretty well. That gash in his head, I want to say it was about this long, and he's got a whole bunch of staples in it now. Jesus Christ! Yeah.
You saw blood on the mat.
Yes,
but then you didn't see it pouring out of his head, so you were like, "Oh, okay, it couldn't have been that bad." Then he posts those pictures, and I was like, "Good God, you madman!" Like you just had like a fissure in your head. Like, yeah, that was insane. I mean, kudos to the medical team for going down there and doing a quick numb and staple, I guess. But damn,
I mean, I don't know if they numbed it, they put some Vaseline. I don't know if they super glued it real quick. I don't know exactly what they did, but Jesus,
don't share this one, please. Just
But okay, yeah, I'm not saying nothing. I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing. Legacy and Nerd. If you're watching this live, you can see the comment, but I'm not going to share that one. But Jesus.
Wow. Woo.
Daniel,
Anyway.
we didn't know you had that in you, buddy.
Edge goes Edge over Balor in the Hell in a Cell, and then of course we get to the main event: Roman Reigns against Cody. That's not a pit because Twitter's Twitter steady. Let's not worry about
like
stupid
the kendo sticks or whatever.
kendo stick in the chairs and all that.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh,
who cares?
dude, I stopped. Yeah, that's when I stopped caring about everyone.
Like one last
Yeah.
thing, the coup de grace through the table where Edge moved. I was like, I hope you didn't blow out your ankles on that after, cutting your head in half.
Yeah, shout out for putting a platform in a cage. Something you used to only see in independent promotions. Thank God they put that there, right? So, yeah.
Hey, Finn just said it's a flesh wound.
Yeah, right.
And this time, he legitimately was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Roman and Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship went on for over half an hour. It had everything. It had ref getting knocked out. It had Solo getting sent to the back. It had the Usos getting involved. And
I forgot. I'm sorry. Jason finally responded. And I forgot about those, like WrestleMania 8 or 7, where they brought in a Japanese tag team to face Demolition and then Taka.
Oh, wait, when did Taco win something? I got to go back and check that out.
He probably defended the light heavyweight championship.
That was
right. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
My thought would have been pre-show or a hardcore title match, like in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the first light heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
so we
forgot
made that
about
a thing.
Tenryu, and they beat Demolition at a WrestleMania early on.
But how long ago were these?
Like single-digit WrestleManias, or at least the first two.
Yeah, Taco was a double-digit one, but that's the last one, right?
Yeah.
So, it's...
And Sato, the Orient Express guy, was probably also 7 or 8, so yeah.
Yeah, so... Gail Kim has said it many times in interviews, Vince does not know how to book Asians. That's so it's just not surprising to see this stuff. So, but the main event, it had everything leading up to thinking this was finally going to happen. Cody's entrance has his daughter at ringside, his wife, his family.
-1?
-1.
Jumping ship? No.
The belt, by the way. How about that, right? That kid is appeared on both promotions now,
I would have loved it if he just would have done that, like, really quick.
But the belt itself, I don't know if you guys saw this, the belt that he gave him, the weight belt, he wrote down every promotion he's been booked on from when he left WWE the first time to his back. Smack dab in the middle is RCW. He wrote that down in there. Yeah.
Brandon and Carolina Teague were retweeting and sharing the crap out of that.
And VIP Wrestling was on there too because Lou Lamont shared that too.
Yeah, Evolve, everything, which I think is great for his story, his bit of a redemption arc. WrestleMania 14, okay, yeah. So it had the makings of everything. In Solo getting sent back, but you just knew he was going to find a way, or they're somehow going to bring in another relative of that family.
That's what I was like. I was like, isn't there one in MLW or something that's related to the Samoan family? Yeah, right. I was like, has he been signed?
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows about signing that day, right? But even Sammy and Kevin Owens continue that story, doing what they can to take down the bloodline.
Yeah.
They put that in the program from night one, keeping that going.
Yep.
And you're thinking you're getting basically the three amigos of Crossroads at the end. The finish, Solo sneaks in, hits the spike. I was like, like Roman just took 2 Crossroads. How was he immediately back up hitting the spear?
Well, can we also mention that, like, lost in this was the fact that they kicked out of each other's stuff that hasn't been kicked out of.
Yeah.
Like, Cody got out of the guillotine, which I don't think any wrestler's gotten out of the guillotine choke. He kicked out of, like, at least 2 spears, I want to say. So they Superman the hell out of Cody before taking the L. But then even Roman kicked out of the first Crossroads, and he kicked out of something else that he hit.
Cody cutter. There was like a low blow in there somewhere.
A Cody cutter or something like that. But
the Cody cutter. Countering each other's moves as well. I mean, they told a great story with this match. And I think people are just in shock with the finish. This is one of those push it over the finish line, and immediately I love, Mike, the GIF that you sent our group chat when this match was over of a guy catching the touchdown and just fumbling it before he gets to the goal line.
Knocked it out of the
so perfect. So perfect. You know?
I also love that there's a GIF for everything. You just got to find it.
Yep.
But, okay, there's only one way this would make sense to me. And there's some parallels to this. Think Cena Rock. Obviously, the once in a lifetime.
I don't want to think about.
No, hold on.
I know.
Hold on. Just think about how after that first time they fought at WrestleMania, Cena's sitting there disappointed. The camera was on him, and the whole arc for the next year was him getting back, getting another shot. Of course, Rock was champion.
But none of us cared.
I know. None
of us wanted to see Cena Rock too.
I know. But do you want to see Cody Roman too at next year's WrestleMania in Philly? Imagine that Philly crowd.
Okay, maybe, but
maybe, yeah.
Wait, let me put it this way: if they do Rock and Roman Reigns in Philly, do you really think Philly fans are going to give a shit?
No, like it's the irony of WWE probably not even realizing Philly was the Rumble that Roman won. Rock came out. And they booed the crap out of him, and Rock even did that, like, oh shit,
they're booing, yes.
Yeah, like I don't even know if they realized the irony if they tried that.
The only way this would make sense if this is a whole year, like, because immediately after that, Rock Cena won. Cena battled Brock Lesnar at Backlash. And then they had that whole thing. Obviously, this is going to happen with Cody, with what happened on Raw. And maybe this is part of the arc. Cody has a down bit of a year. They build up to it for him to do it at WrestleMania 40. Because, okay, it makes no sense to do Rock versus Roman. It makes no sense to do that.
No.
Because if Roman wins, okay, he beat a guy well past his prime. If Rock wins, you're destroying everything Roman Reigns just did. Because he's supposed to be the most over guy right now, and he's losing to a guy who hasn't wrestled in years.
But also, if Vince McMahon is back, everything goes out the window.
I know.
As far as logic goes. That's the problem. Because all Vince will do is bring in big name after big name. You know, as Steady joked about that you don't need the Goldbergs anymore. He probably will re-sign him and bring him back. Because that is literally everything we've seen for the last 10 years of Vince McMahon being in charge. So I think it's not – I mean, again, we're maybe overreacting to the fact that Vince was in L.A. for that Monday Night Raw. Will he continue to travel to all the shows? It seems like it. I don't know if you can feel confident about anything going forward as far as a plan or a story or what they're planning to book.
The problem is with Vince is like even if he's not there, he could still teleconference in, and that's a friend of mine pointed. Someone shared that on the page.
Come on, he doesn't know how to use Zoom.
First, and even if he did, I really hope Triple H is like, "Hey, Vince, we're losing connection here. Sorry, we're just gonna have to go without."
Yep.
Bruce Pritchard, freeze.
Yeah. Just do what the whole Eric Cartman thing did during the COVID thing when he had to Zoom into his classes. He would pretend every day that his screen would freeze, and then he would just sit out the rest of it. Great stuff. Love that episode. Yeah. But yeah, JC said it right there. Roxy into his anticlimactic. Yeah, because no one cared about that. But I think the difference is people might care if you build Cody back up to get another shot, and if it's at WrestleMania 40 in Philly, the back-to-back chance to do it. Yeah, you're gonna push Roman over 1,000 days as champion. He's gonna hit that. You know, that'd be shocked if he were to lose at Backlash.
I mean, for what it's worth. Legacy of Nerd. At least if you get to see a Jennifer Lopez movie, you get to see Jennifer Lopez in it. That's worth something.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it was her last movie, which just saying.
Yeah.
So I've heard. I don't know.
I'm glad you put Celine in there because that's special.
Yeah, so I must say you're right. That doesn't count. But that's actually my fear is that they'll drag this out for a year. And I know, and let me go ahead and call a spade a spade. I know that sounds hypocritical coming from a New Japan fan. I know how that sounds. Because
Okada wins what?
That's different. Anyway,
now it's different. He made events every goddamn Wrestle Kingdom, but it's okay.
First of all, I admit to my hypocrisy when it comes to Okada. I've never denied it. Let's be honest about this show. I have never denied my bias for Okada. Not once. Not once on this show.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. Can we do like a group watch on like Netflix or whatever it's on? Because I'll probably be right there with you.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I'm not going to say no to that, by the way.
Wait, Steady, was that Steady, was this an intentional pun? Is Theory going to defeat him now that McMahon's back? Is that the plan? Theory?
Oh, now you said it out loud.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, people would shit on that. Look, if it better be the right person. It better be the right person, because if you have the wrong person beat Roman, no one's going to buy it. No one's going to want that. And it almost has to be Cody at next year's WrestleMania. If you do Theory, no one's going to want to see that. No one's going to really appreciate that.
When has Vince ever cared about what
I know when Vince has never cared, but I'm just predicting fan reaction here.
I just hope it doesn't go all the way to next year's WrestleMania.
Do you remember when they blamed Baron Corbin for the bad booking of their TV show because he was the on-TV general manager?
Yeah.
They don't care, especially Vince.
I know you don't want to see it, Tommy, but who else could beat him?
But no, I don't want to go all the way to WrestleMania next year. It just seems like
it's going to. It's good because at this point, his title reign has to end at a WrestleMania. It makes no sense for it to end any other pay-per-view.
Actually, with Vince, this is also a legitimate one.
Yeah, actually, that. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh wait, can we do Bobby Lashley instead? Can we have that happen instead? I don't care. I just.
I actually would love to see Lashley get a shot. If not Cody, then definitely Lashley, because at least that looks legit. So
What about Vince booking African American wrestler strong? Has you convinced it's going to be Bobby Lashley?
Exactly, that's the problem. Vince is in charge. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I am allowed. Okay,
that was
fantasy booking any of this. I'm allowed to dream. Okay, I am allowed to dream.
Even with Kofi Mania, we know how. Like, did you see?
I am allowed to dream.
Did you see the Brock Lesnar memes they made about like, we got a black
actually,
all Brock Lesnar. And then you're like,
the ones I saw were actually pretty funny. I'm not even going.
That did happen twice. So, it's weird.
It happened 3 times. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it happened 3 times. Because technically, The Rock counts.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Rock, then Kofi, then Big E. It's technically, I don't care. Nobody say The Rock counts. Damn it. So
no, you're right. I was thinking more recently.
Because his dad is one of the blackest mofos in history. I don't give a shit. So man, Rocky Johnson was black as a motherfucker. I don't give a shit. Nobody.
So should we move on to the news now?
Well, first we got to talk about how we did on our picks because I'll say this: night one, I went 4-3, Mike went 4-3, and Tommy went 7-0. And then night two, Tez the night one.
I finally tested the event, and I don't care if it's just one night.
No, it was just one night. It wasn't a whole event because then night two happened.
I tested one night.
And that being said, I reversed Tez night 2. I went 0-6, and Mike and Tommy both went 2-4. So, oh Jesus Christ, Jason! I swear to God, if that happens,
I mean, that would probably be how she breaks her dad's record.
Yeah.
It would be, two championships. It'd be 2 championships.
Yeah.
Overall, I went 4-9 on WrestleMania. Mike went 6-7, and Tommy, the only one to have a winning record on picks, 9-4.
Mr. WrestleMania.
So,
believe me, I couldn't believe I was that right. Trust me, I thought I got something wrong on night one. When I was like, damn, what did I pick on that? So okay.
Don't question the numbers now, man.
Yeah.
So WrestleCast rating wise, 0 to 500 WrestleMania 17, 0 December, just remember, night one was a 4.75 for me. Night 2 was a 3.5. So if I average that out, I'm giving WrestleMania a 4.125. That is my rating for WrestleMania 39.
Why'd you rate night 2 so high? The IC title match. Fair
The
enough.
IC title match. Bianca Belair versus Asuka.
Was actually good, except
No, it was a good match at the ending. I mean, Edge and Balor Hell in a Cell was great. It was, seeing Snoop Dogg hit people's elbow probably brought it up to right there at the passing grade. But yeah, so 4.125 was my rating for WrestleMania 39. Mike, what about you?
I mean, yeah, like night one, especially with the ending for me, was almost. I want to give it a 5, but then night 2, I want to give it a 3. So I think I'm going to go 4 for the overall weekend.
Okay.
Because it definitely was a good start, and then it fell off the rails.
All right, and Tommy.
I'll give night 1 a 5 for sure. I thought about that as I was like, wow, this actually was one of their best shows. Night 2 has to get a 3.5 from me because it's like it was so almost great, but then it just wasn't. So,
so that's a 4.25 for you based on that average.
Yeah. So yeah.
So that puts our WrestleMania rating here overall. Let me update the caption here. Where is it? There you are. A 4.125. Yes, NXT Stand Deliver was better than WrestleMania 39. And based on the WrestleCast ratings we've had thus far this year, WrestleMania 39 is currently our worst pay-per-view of the year, tied with NXT Vengeance Day. Just throwing that out there right now. So.
Oh, okay.
How did NXT turn it around so fast?
Because they actually got out of Orlando, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
The power of love.
Yeah.
The power of index.
That's what it does. So, oh, geez, what do we got here? I haven't even read this yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like a chicken sandwich at Bill Miller. I know what you're doing there. So, yeah. So.
Whoa. If you're going to eat something from Bill Miller's, it's good, but you're at your own risk, especially with like their chops.
That's true. I still finished the sandwich.
So,
that's right.
Yeah,
I
know.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, wrestling news. I'm sure everyone's been waiting to talk about this, guys. So, yes, the next day after WrestleMania, we figured, okay, we're going to be talking all this show about how night 1 was great. Oh, jeez.
I've already seen the meme about him getting back for smashing the throne at the AEW show.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Anyway, I figured, okay, after WrestleMania, I'm waking up on Monday thinking, all right, want to see how Raw after Mania is, see how AEW responds, and we're going to talk about how much night 1 was better than night 2. And then news was starting to hit rumors that WWE was on the process of potentially being sold to Endeavor, which is the parent company of the UFC. Those rumors started to hit news reports on Sunday. And, of course, I woke up Monday morning to the news that, yes, that sale is official. Now, obviously, there's still some time where they have to work through all the red tape, has to go through regulators, yada, 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 shareholder stuff.
Oh, yeah. Wrong regulator, sorry.
So, as it stands right now, Endeavor has purchased WWE and is currently the parent company over UFC and WWE. It is still being run separately. Vince McMahon owns 49% of shares in Endeavor, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that right, and is now basically the chief chairman of the WWE side of things. And while he said on an interview with his fresh new mustache on CNBC that he will not be in the weeds and creative, that was bullshit by the time we got to Raw on Monday night.
And for some reason, I don't know why, in the interview he asked, would you say I have a plethora of money now?
Wow.
And Brucey P said, yes, Elephant, I have a plethora.
Yeah.
If you're too young to get that joke, go to bed. It's real late, man.
If you haven't seen that movie, go check it out. So, but yes, Raw after Mania. They did
his
such a good
eyebrows
job.
Died. Everything was dyed
Everything
on
was,
that man.
Yeah.
His hair, his skin, his eyebrows. That thing that was drawn on his lip.
That man has been gray for the past 40 years, and suddenly now everything is brown. No. No.
Yep.
I mean, we could get into a whole other hour of the memes that have come out of that. He sold WWE because he couldn't get photos of Spider-Man. That was a great one.
That was a good one.
No, my favorite one is of him photoshopping him in the Bison uniform. That was
that was my favorite one.
Yes. So
for you, it was WrestleMania Night 2.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday.
It was just he was standing right. They did such a big job during night 2 of WrestleMania promoting the Raw after Mania, how all these things happened, and then crap.
And then nothing happened.
Yeah,
that might have to
rewrites.
like you said earlier, JC. That might have to be our new rating for 0 being the Raw after
The
Mania.
Raw after WrestleMania 39. Yeah,
that might have to be our new one because it was like oh, the whole night you were waiting for something big to happen. That never happened. And not only did nothing happen big or worthwhile, almost everything about the show was absolutely garbage. God!
Also, okay, Triple H comes out, you know, they just, you know, the deal was announced.
Talk about the sale. Yeah,
I get that part. But then you don't start after that. Well, no, he did bring out Roman, I guess, technically. But the first match you put on is an Osmosis squash match.
I guess
that's what you're kicking off with after, and he lost.
Yeah,
it's not even like he's coming in as like a victor. Like, oh, he just beat Brock Lesnar. Let's see what he lost. And then you have him squash Elias.
Yeah, and
why don't show up until hour 3?
Yeah, why are we burying Elias? What did he do?
Well, they've been burying him for the last 6 months, even with Triple H, for what it's worth.
You're right.
Since he's been back as Elias, it hasn't been good.
Again, I'm glad I was at a softball game, youth softball game. Yeah, it was way more.
And then apparently they were supposed to have like triple threat women matches to set up a new contender for Bianca Belair, from what I've read. And then, in fact, those got cut, and they turned it into the number 1 contenders match, which, again, here we go right away where the stories aren't even matching up with what they did. Shayna and Ronda win a 4-corner showcase match or whatever on WrestleMania Night 2. The next night, they have a number 1 contenders match without Shayna and Ronda, with Ronda and Shayna and Ronda, with Liv and Raquel versus, was it Shotzi and?
No, they fought Damage Control. They fought.
Oh no, you're right, Damage Control. That's right, because they came out without Bayley. Like, what was the point of that match then on Sunday night? Why would that not have been an automatic number 1 contenders match? Why? Because apparently he just rewrites everything for no good reason and changes the show as it's going on.
You know, and I think the most telling thing about Raw after Mania is this, and if you guys have seen the video, Seth Rollins, from the moment he got there, has been a company guy. Has always talked up how great WWE is. Everyone was being criticized heavily on the internet for all this stuff, about creative stuff, about Vince being in charge. He called out fans before who were saying how AEW is better, this and that, this promotion's better, yada, yada, yada. He's always been the company guy since he got there. You never see him visibly frustrated about what creative stuff is going down in the ring. He had his Dean Ambrose frustration moment that night when his segment right before he's about to go on, and which we think is going to be pretty deadly, gets cut when he's already in the ring and his music is hit. They promoted that he's going to be in the ring, and there's fan videos of people out there seeing him being told what the change was made and him being visibly upset. They cut back to TV. He's just dropping the mic, leads the song, and then he walks out. And that's the first time I've ever seen him frustrated with the creative direction of what's going on.
I think he played it off on TV. The video was telling of him being told. But so just so we're clear, what you want us to believe is that Seth Rollins came down because everyone likes his song, just to listen to people sing his song, and then he left.
So he got the Fandango treatment.
He just beat Logan Paul, which, for what it's worth, should be a big deal because WWE hypes up their celebrities.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't mention it, doesn't say anything, just goes or whatever, and then leaves. Like, that's what you wanted to happen again on the night after WrestleMania. That's all it's worth. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys visit cagematch.net a lot. It's practically my favorite
I
website at
have
this
recently
point.
for interviews, honestly enough, but
Yeah, no, it's a great site. Just once you get past the German part, if you can't read German, that's when the Google Chrome Translate option is your friend.
wait,
But no,
you? Okay, go ahead.
but currently the Monday Night Raw from this past Monday has a 0.62 rating.
Oh, I've heard this.
There are 254 people who gave it a 0 rating, 29 who gave it a 1, 30 who gave it a 2, 11 who gave it 3, 4 who gave it 4, 5 who gave it 5, 2, 6. There's an 8, and there's 2 who gave it 10. And I'm more than positive everything above 5 are people who work for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're to WWE what the Red Hats are to the Republican Party. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I won't argue that either.
Yeah, of course, Legacy said right there. We got Matt Riddle back in.
yeah, I mean, cool. I like Riddle in general, but if that's your biggest return, honestly, that's a little bit of a disappointment. I know he wasn't even injured. He was dealing with some personal things, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but again, I go back to they're going to Backlash in Puerto Rico next.
Yes.
So originally, I think there was supposed to be what I've heard again, and these are all speculations of what may or may not have been on the original script, but apparently LWO was going to be there to give Bad Bunny their new LWO Puerto Rican shirt for him to wear and have him join the group. But instead, they did the angle with Damian Priest, which is apparently to set up.
They said Priest versus Bad Bunny at Backlash?
No. I think it's supposed to be Ray and Bad Bunny versus Dom and Damian Priest, which, cool. I'm down with that.
I'm down for
that.
that
Sounds
too.
like a good match. But again, in the story that you just told over the weekend with Rey Mysterio and LWO, they were like, we got your back. We are going to make sure Judgment Day doesn't get involved. And literally they did that in the match at WrestleMania. And then still in LA, still in a WWE show, they're nowhere to be found while Damian Priest is attacking Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio with Don.
Let's see what happens on SmackDown. And honestly, I kind of want to see an LWO shirt with the Puerto Rican logo. So I really hope
you can look it up. They've already WWE's already put stuff up about it. But,
because if they don't sell those at Backlash, it's a missed
opportunity. That's literally
they have to.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
If one thing Vince is usually not dumb about, it's making money. So
yeah.
Well, if he was smart, he would make one for every single country flag in Latin America. Just throw it out there right now.
If you were smart,
I don't know if he knows how many countries are in Latin America.
What? There's more than one.
There's more than one.
They're all Mexican, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. He goes in the United States, Canada, Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he starts referencing Animaniacs to figure out the countries of the world, right?
No, you know how we were talking about SmackDown earlier? Because Steady sent a picture of their announcement that Triple H is going to address the universe. And I already threw that in the chat. I was like, well, what happened was...
Yeah.
And then, Tommy, what'd you throw in?
I put in Triple H. We signed Okada. Literally everyone. No, you didn't. Well, no. But missing out on Jay White wasn't my fault. And look, I know the timing doesn't match up. I know it doesn't, but I still hold on to the fact that somehow Jay White saw what was coming, said, "Nah, I'm just gonna go kick it in AEW with Juice Robinson and them and see how they're doing." And FTR watched Raw and they nope the F out of going back to WWE and said, "We'll stick with AEW."
You wonder how many free agents change their minds with this.
And along those lines, there have already been reports. Again, it's third sheet, it's reported, whatever, that there's talent, some near the top of the card, saying that they'll either let their contract run out if it stays like this, or they would consider asking for a release. So
yeah,
I mean, we some people might say we're overreacting, but even the fact that people think that's possible, given what Vince was like previously, it's not out of the realm of any possibility. He was crap for the last 5 or 6 years, at least, him running show.
I'm not saying people don't just make shit up and put it on news and hope it hits. Yeah. But I feel like in this situation, with how well things were going, for it to suddenly change the way it has, there's some rumblings where people are going to be looking to leave. AEW has other options out there. The Ring of Honor is still a thing. Impact is on its way up. New Japan is thing now. It's like there's other options out there, people. Hell, NWA is running a show this weekend, and there's heavy card with it too. Yeah, so you say this about Damian Priest, I agree. But again, this is the whole. I think that might have been in the works for this coming year, really pushing it more, especially with the storyline. We'll see if Vince is in charge of it again, though. That's the problem. So,
but along those lines, think about all the guys Triple H re-signed after he took over and brought back that were part of the releases under Vince.
Yeah,
they can't be feeling too confident about their
choice
right now because literally they let you go once when the other guy was in charge.
Yeah.
So,
now of course we see. Okay, how does this trickle down to the rest of wrestling? You knew after Raw after Mania, as bad as it was, AEW is like, all right, we got a shot to make a statement, and on MJF night.
Oh my God!
Which, by the way, him singing "Pennies from the Heaven," amazing. I really was hoping the crowd would have joined him and just everyone yelled "Shooby Dooby." I didn't hear it very well if they did it, so
But it was.
I know there's people who are not AEW fans that just want to crap on it. They were like, "Oh, he's going to have to work hard to get Jungle Boy over." The crowd was cheering him and booing Jungle Boy, and I'm like. They were in his home town. Like the whole thing was he got the key to the city.
Yes.
If you have not watched AEW, it's literally like when Bret Hart would go to Canada.
Thank you.
About everywhere else, Bret Hart was getting booed in America till he went to Canada and he was a hero. MJF, same thing. Like last week, they were telling him to shut the F up. During the Four Pillars interview or whatever it was, and they started that crap, and now it was like he was a god. Yeah, and no matter what, I don't know, I'm not gonna say, but like he could have done anything, and they would have cheered him.
The difference is Brett had a whole country cheering for him.
Yeah.
MJF literally has just Long Island because if you leave Long Island, everyone hates him.
Anywhere else, exactly. Anywhere else in New York, anywhere else, they boo him out of the building. Long Island, he is their Lord and Savior.
Yes, Brooklyn, Bronx, booed. Doesn't matter. Long Island, safe.
And I love that Tony doesn't try to fight it like you would have.
No, he knows.
No,
he's just like,
They have special shirts made those nights for Long Islanders, and they sell out all the time. Yeah. So
Baker in Pittsburgh could be the biggest heel. She goes to Pittsburgh, she's gonna be cheered.
Yeah. She was a heel during that run, right? And then they just cheered out of the building no matter what. Yeah.
That's when I will give Tony this for messing up. He decided to put Red Velvet as a face against her in Brooklyn. Red Velvet didn't stand a chance. No. I don't think she's been the same since. I hate to say that, but
But the announcement, obviously, the biggest announcement they teased are like, people were like, whatever. What's this big announcement going to be?
Yeah, they said that.
All in England, in London. Now, here's the thing: people are asking, does that mean All Out is canceled? The answer is no. All In will be in England. The following weekend, All Out will be taking place. We will have 2 back-to-back weekends of AEW pay-per-views.
Well,
that's already been confirmed. So they haven't said
where confirmed to be a pay-per-view. I mean, I know it seems like it'd be obvious, but
whatever it is. I mean, it's what was the date they gave? August
27th.
August 27th is. 27th is a Sunday. Yeah. So with it being in England, it's going to basically be Sunday and like probably noon our time or afternoon, whatever. But yeah, it is. I don't know if it'll be if it's pay-per-view. Most likely it will be because it's a Sunday.
I would think so, but I just don't think it's been officially said what it's going to be. But yeah.
Whether it is or not, the point is they're doing 2 huge back-to-back events.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen All In since Cody ran that show. Yeah. And now All Out is happening. It's going to still happen Labor Day weekend. So you're basically getting back-to-back weekends of AEW pay-per-view huge events. And that's amazing, So they're stepping up their game now. Say, okay,
We've been saying for the past couple weeks, like Dynamite it's starting to come together.
Yeah, it's starting to come together. Yeah.
I was down with Blackpool Combat Club last week when Bryan Danielson showed up, and you thought he was going to help Kenny, then he went nope. And there's just like it's a picture that could be in the Louvre now of Daniel Bryan with like the yes lock, but he's flexing.
Yeah.
Yuta's in the back doing like push-ups.
Yeah.
And like Claudio and them are just stomping on like, and then what they did on Wednesday, just continuing their path of destruction. Bryan Danielson taking shots at WWE
and everyone else.
After what I've seen this week, we're the best wrestling on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason
that's
said yes.
a big part of that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because WWE's not even doing that. They're doing Money. Was it Money in the Bank?
Yeah, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank is at the O2 Arena.
At the O2.
Yeah.
Which is still a great venue, but it ain't Wembley.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, Wembley's where the NFL goes, for crying out loud.
So here's what I said about that, because everyone, of course, who hates AEW thinks, they're not going to, because I have to preface it with that, because everyone who hates AEW is like, well, they might not even get 20,000 fans in there. And I'm like, here's what's going to happen. It doesn't, because to me, it honestly doesn't matter how many they get in there. It's going to matter who gets in there, and who's going to get in there are the fans who have been dying for wrestling on that level to be there for years. Yes, their O2 is going to be crazy too, but London wrestling fans are passionate.
But here's the thing.
Insane.
It's not just London, though.
Right. That's what.
Yeah.
You're going to have people coming from all over the UK, from Ireland, from all over Europe, who will make that trip.
You're right. You're true.
For that event.
Tommy, I know you're probably familiar, but Germany has that WXW or whatever.
Yeah, they do.
Michelle Green wrestles a lot. They have a really good group in there. You think about like what NXT UK was, and listening to that. I think you underestimate how much that area and Europe is waiting for something like this. And
True.
it's not WWE, but you just need a handful of good names. you know some of that New Japan / talent you can bring in.
Didn't Osprey mention something about Twitter about it?
Osprey said, "Is that so?" But think about this. I mean, it's not like UK European fans don't know who Adam Cole is. Put him anywhere on the card, and the Bay is gonna good thing it's an open air stadium, because the Bay is gonna just echo throughout the streets of London. But my overall point with the guy I was saying on the IG page was, no matter how many fans they get in there, the fans that get in there are going to be into the whole show. They're going to be loud as F like the entire night. And they're going to cheer and boo whoever they want to, and it's just going to be a magical night. And whoever is the main event, or whoever's even the opening card, it's just going to be awesome. Yeah, there's that too. Yeah,
I would preface it by saying wrestling as a whole is bigger. They don't look at it as like promotions, because you want to get Impact. I think is arguably bigger than WWE and UK, because they follow Impact huge. Hell, when we talked about Wrestle Kingdom, how many people do we have from across the pond on our show commenting?
Watching it,
well, Wrestle Kingdom coming up that evening. So people are excited.
Also, if you remember, like Rev Pro's out there and Progress, and there's a guy who's from France named Cara Noir. I think it stands for Black Crow. I think it stands for what that means.
I've heard that name.
He's from. I think he's from France, but he wrestles a lot. And the reason I bring that up is between now and then, they could even probably get some European talent just on the show somewhere, because it's AEW. They could do like a European indie showcase. Could you imagine if Michelle Green, Mike, was on that show? Like if it was like team Europe against Team AEW, like they like, hey, Michelle Green, you want to, because Thunder Rosa's booked her before. That would be massive. What I'm saying is, the show
you could get some top tier talent for that American team too. So
okay, whatever. You had
like
to go
Vert Vixen.
You had to go and ruin my good.
And Vert Vixen used to have an AEW tag team partner. I forget what her name was. You probably cheered her a bunch. We probably have video of you cheering her. To be honest, I've heard
we were doing so well.
I know, right? You know how hard it was not to mention anything up until now. I'm gonna pat myself on the back, Barry Horowitz style. That was impressive on my.
Let's say do Jerome Daniels style.
We were almost 2 hours in, Tommy.
Yeah.
We're almost 2 hours in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
anyway,
the
overall point of this is very simple. AEW is going to jump on this. AEW's like, all right, the wrestling to talk, and now if Vince is worried about AEW, if you really want WWE to kind of rival what they're doing, stay the fuck out of the way, because the only time people really cared about WWE right now over AEW, or at least on that same level, was when Triple H was running creative and you weren't even involved. Because you have to know it was better when you're not involved. Maybe that's get your ego in check, dude.
Let's be honest. For a solid 2 or 3 months, everyone cared about WWE more than AEW. It took literally one Raw for that to shift right back. Now, that being said, I'll give Tony Khan credit. If Dynamite would have sucked, that would have been bad. But like we said, he brought out the big guns, and what did me and Mike say? He emptied the clip.
Can we go back through Wednesday night and everything?
You mean the opening minute when Jay White came in and just said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
We haven't even talked about that. Well, not even that, but like they announced Nigel McGuinness is all elite too.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, because he showed up at Supercard, or not Supercard.
Supercard.
Oh, it was Supercard.
Yeah. He was the third commentary. Yeah.
And now Jay White is all elite.
Jay White was there. Riho and Jamie Hayter tore the house down. House of Black against Best Friends and Orange Cassidy.
By the way, Best Friends driven again by Sue.
When Sue shows up, the show is a big one. Okay,
that's pull out the big guns.
Hear me out. Best Friends are wrestling at All In London. Sue has to drive one of those red double-decker tour buses in to bring them in. Please, dear God, make it happen.
Yeah, well, I'm in.
I am 100% in.
I'm here for it. And I'll even give the guns credit. They came out to Mini Man by 50 Cent. That was pretty funny. I like that.
But seriously, on Dynamite, so you kick off with the Switchblade showing up. Jericho's doing an interview talking about the thing because Daniel Garcia lost to Adam Cole in his first match back. They had that kind of big celebration for Adam Cole where Britt Baker came out and then Jericho came out for Daniel Garcia. And it seems like they were sowing seeds for a Jericho-Adam Cole thing. But then out of nowhere, Keith Lee confronts Jericho during this interview, and he's like, basically, let's do a match next week. So apparently next week on Dynamite, Keith Lee and Jericho, which I don't think we've ever seen.
No, I didn't remember.
And then, Sue pulled up. I mean, that was a pretty big one. And then the Blackpool Combat Club facing 3 jobbers. The match barely starts. They start kicking their tail from like outside the ring. And again, and I made this comment last week, and again it shows up because in AEW you tend to not have as many of the Osmosis, the Lesnar, those big size guys. Most of the matches, probably outside of Hobbs, outside of Wardlow, Claudio looks like a flippin' giant. Yeah. And then it doesn't matter their size. He's just tossing them around. It's amazing. And then Mox is just being Mox. I think he's having the time of his life, to be honest with you. He's like, let me just come down to the ring, beat people up, possibly bleed. I'm in.
Possibly bleed? I'm in.
You just got to be like a kid in a candy shop because he's looking around and like, hey, there's Claudio. Hey, there's Bryan Danielson. Hey, there's Jon Moxley. And I'm a part of this.
And I got to wrestle Shibata this past weekend.
Seriously. And then you finish off with FTR, who, it was a title versus career or AEW career. And they played it up like FTR was tweeting and messaging all kinds of like memories. And, this is what our career has been. They gave the Guns a 50-cent entrance.
Many Men.
There you go. Many Men.
Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. What the hell?
Yeah. Dynamite just pulled out all the stops this Wednesday. It was an amazing. It ranked way higher than night 2.
Yeah, so what you're saying is the Dynamite after WrestleMania is going to be a go-to event for years to come.
Let's see what happens next year.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see what Rampage after Mania is like too.
Hey, next year Tanahashi gets announced as like an ambassador or commentator for the Japanese side of things, and then like the first opening minute, Roderick Strong comes out, just beats the hell out of somebody, gives him a backbreaker.
Jeff Cobb returns.
Because why not, right? So
yeah,
Cobb beats Okada.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Cobb is one of the few guys who I would be okay with beating Okada. He really is. Like,
hey,
all kidding aside,
book it. Wrestle Kingdom, Cobb over Okada.
Fair enough.
But all seriousness, he's one of the guys who's such a legit threat that would make a ton of sense. So,
well, I can't say anything about that. So I'll say.
I agree with you. Finally,
I was about to say that there's no way Mike can argue with that. He can't.
I know. I was like,
I was looking at you. Yeah, he's got nothing for that one.
Well, I think we covered pretty much the wrestling news there is to talk about because at least as much as we can right now because we've been running over 2 hours on this show. I think it's safe to say we're not going to have a 1 minute warning tonight. But I will quickly say this. I will say this: NWA 312 is this Friday night. It is on Fight TV. Tommy mentioned it. Yes, La Rosa Negra is getting a shot at the NWA World Women's Championship, and this is her Championship Series cash-in match against Camille. Maddie Rankowski is also defending the Women's Tag Team Championship with Missy Kate against Pretty Empowered as well. So, let's see what else is going on. Where's the heavyweight title match? Is it on here?
Tyrus against someone.
Guys, don't forget every Monday while you're looking up stuff to go check out Maddie's social media for her main character interviews. This one was
side character,
Well, yeah, main Maddie side character interviews. Always so great.
Yeah.
But when you say Khan has spoken, did you think that we thought someone else was talking?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
By the way, I know we said it last week, Mike, but since Mike was at the show, RCW Mania was an amazing show, real quick.
Yeah.
And the I Quit match was my match of the night until Q and Khan got in there and just beat the crap out of each other. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, Steady, you put the hashtag there, and actually, I was going to mention this. I was going to do a quick 1 minute warning, but we'll do that in just a second. So,
real quick for Tommy's before you do that, and I was going to say shout out to Key Vibes Cholas that helped her win that match. I saw representing for the South Side.
Yeah. So let me just quickly say this. The calls have gone out. The social media has taken off, and I really hope to God this works. Hijack Smackdown has become a thing for tomorrow night. And whether or not this is something WWE put out to get people to watch, who knows? But if people really pick up on this, because the last time fans tried to hijack a show, it was the Chicago after CM Punk left WWE or took his break, whatever. But hashtag Fire Vince. Are they going to be chanting Fire Vince all night at SmackDown? This has been making the rounds on social media, and we'll see how this plays off. We'll see if they're going to try and combat this in any way. But if this really does take off, if fans are really on this, and the Fire Vince chants are everywhere, SmackDown might actually be a pretty decent show. Because the last time fans tried to hijack a show around the CM Punk thing in Chicago, it was a decent Raw. But this is something that just cannot be for one night. If you're really that concerned about Vince McMahon being involved with WWE again, the Fire Vince chants have to go on every time, every Raw, every SmackDown, every house show, hell, every main event. Because yes, they still do tape those.
Yep.
Until he is completely gone.
Here's the only reason I disagree with you. If they're in the stadium and they're in the arena and they're chanting, they've already given him his money.
Yeah.
Their money for the shows. If you really, and this is the thing that we said way back when the original one, if you really want to affect WWE and make change, you got to stop paying attention. I almost feel like it's the opposite. You got to stop going to shows. You got to stop tweeting about them because all they're going to do is tout, oh, look at us, we're trending for some reason. You got to, they're making more money hand at a fist. I wrote an article for the Countdown City Geeks about this was the most successful WrestleMania of all time. Their sponsorship money was out the roof. All their stuff. They're a juggernaut. I don't think Vince will care if they fire Vince because he'll probably just put his headphones on and not hear. If you really care that much about changing things, you got to make it hurt where it means the most to them. And you got to stop going to shows. You got to stop buying the merch. You got to stop talking about them.
And stop watching.
The hijacking thing will be a visual, but they're still getting your money if you go there. So that's my only thought on that. So
see how many signs get confiscated too, right? So yeah.
Oh, Dana Brooke.
Yeah, right? Like, that's random.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Someone had to give a Dana Brooke a chance sign, which was apparent. Like, is that really that offensive?
My God, it just makes no sense. Yeah, so thank you everyone for sticking around and watching this marathon of a show and for chatting along with us. Again, if you're catching us after the fact, let us know your thoughts on Supercard of Honor, on NXT Stand and Deliver, on WrestleMania 39, on all the news that we talked about today. Check out the Countdown City Geeks website at countdowncitygeeks.com. Mike mentioned that he put an article on there as well. I've got one in my mind in the works. Mine's going to be more related to whenever Samurai Shodown finally gets rollback netcode. I'm just like keeping that on the mind for that show. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going to see the Mario Brothers movie. I know some of our guys in the Geeks have got to go to a screening of it, and I might have my initial thoughts with the kids. Probably post another one of those videos afterward. Last time we did that was for Shrek. Not for Shrek. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is on Peacock, by the way, because they advertised that heavily during WrestleMania. Next week.
That's not something that's said very often, so I'll take it.
Yeah, next week we're going to preview Impact Rebellion, which is looking like a pretty damn awesome show.
Yeah, they had a moment I saw while we were talking on Instagram where Josh Alexander was relinquishing the belt, but his son grabbed it real quick and held on to it. So that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's.
And then shortly after that, Moose came in, knocked him out, cashed it from his son. That would have been amazing.
He booted his son. Moose, he's not champion. Why was he holding the belt? I thought he was champion.
Yeah. I still had to cash in. You don't have a cash in. Screw it. I'm taking it.
By the way, what JC just put up is what I meant. That's not something that's said very often. So.
Yeah.
Mike is very right.
I do want to say this is looking good. Obviously, yes, that title's vacated. To clarify something we had said last week, it turns out Mickie James is still the Knockouts champion, and she's going to be defending against Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo at Rebellion. So we're going to talk a lot more about that next week, among other things. The card is looking stacked. We'll see what else happens on Impact next week to set up the final thing. But yeah, the main event is going to be Kushida versus Steve Macklin for the vacant Impact World Championship.
Be a hell of a match.
Yep. Midnight. Oh, sorry.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching and sticking around with us, commenting. If you are celebrating Easter this weekend, we hope you have a safe Easter with family. Especially if you're heading out to Breckenridge Park, good luck. Especially finding a spot. Then good luck finding the mosquitoes after all the rain we just got, too. So over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC, and as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
Reach for the sky, boy.
Boom. Adios, Gunther.
Fire Vince.